Heyo, Stoic here. Hey, welcome to the Bedrock Guide. In this tutorial, we'll be making a blaze farm out of a blaze spawner. Hey, before we move into this tutorial, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. It's so much fun to do these things. And yeah, whenever you guys subscribe, it just really motivates me to keep moving. So yeah, let's get into this. All right, let's make your way to the nether. You got to find yourself a nether fortress. And within these nether fortresses, you'll find 0, 1, or 2 blaze spawners. We happen to have found one right here. You can see this unique kind of step up platform with some fences. This is where your blaze spawners are going to be. Sometimes the blaze spawner will be missing and you'll still have this structure. Blaze spawners will spawn from 0 to 4 blazes every 10 to 40 seconds. So that means you could have blazes spawning very frequently or not very frequently at all. It really just kind of depends on how the game is loading. If there are more than 6 blazes within a 4-block distance of this blaze spawner, then the blaze spawner will stop spawning blazes. Talk about a tongue twister. These spawn platforms can be in open air. This one's kind of closed up, which is kind of ideal for what we're going to do. All right, like I mentioned earlier, you can find blaze spawners out in the open, or you can find them buried as long as they're with another fortress. So you can come in here really quick, and if you're fast enough, you can get here before it actually spawns. And what you can do is throw down jack-o'-lanterns, 5 of them, just like that. And there's enough brightness here to prevent the blazes from spawning. The next thing you're going to want to do is just kind of block off the rest of whatever else this fortress is, just to make sure nothing else can bother you when you're working on your farm. So we're already enclosed, which is pretty sweet, but now we have to do some digging. That's the drawback. You have to either be protected and dig your way out, or you can have wide open and all you're doing is placing blocks. So pick your poison, whatever you want to do, or just use the one that's close enough to you. So yeah, for this one, we're going to be digging things out. All right, when we're digging, there is a small chance you'll get a blaze that'll spawn from this. It's happened to me once in all the time I've been testing this, and I'm just kind of surprised. So yeah, just be ready. If one does pop up, you'll know it right away. But yeah, anyways, let's take a look. I've already dug part of this out. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4 in all 4 directions. And the other thing we need to do is dig this up by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out the top part. All right, things are starting to shape up. Things are looking good here. So let's go ahead and now we're going to dig this thing out 4 blocks below. So let me show you what that will look like. All right, so we've got everything dug out as shown. If you're in an open air blaze spawner, you're going to need to put in walls just like this. And you can use this same template as your guide to show how far out your walls have to be. Now, the next thing we need to do is find the north direction. And this is important for our minecarts. Now, you can use our jack-o'-lanterns right here to see that this is pointing in the northwest direction. You have to look at the top the stem, not the bottom. I think the bottom one points in a different direction. So the top stem of your jack-o'-lantern, no matter how you've placed it, will point to the northwest. So north is this direction. You can also use your coordinates to show which way is north. And you can see that our negative Z direction, we're going negative. Right now I'm going positive. That means that's the south. Our negative number is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that means north is that direction. All right, I went ahead and put a big old green N in there just to show that that's the direction we need to work. The next thing we're going to need to do is go in by 5 and with a height of 3. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 just like that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just like that. So I'll put in some markers and I'll have it all cleared out. All right, so if you're in open air out here, you can fill this in. You can see 1, 2, 3. Have a nice secure area for yourself. I'd like to keep this big green N in place. That way we can continue to know which way is north. But you can see that you can just fill things in just like that. And we're going to need to do that up here as well because we don't need any of our blazes getting away from us. So make sure you got a nice solid wall on top and then a 3 tall opening here and make sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks deep. All right, the next part we're going to need to dig down, and we're going to have to go down 8 blocks And we just need to take out this area that we've started for our AFK position. And this will house our Trident Killer collection system and AFK position. So let's go ahead and dig down by 8 blocks, kind of in this space. All right, I've got this thing dug out, and yeah, this is where we're going to AFK, collect our goodies, and kill the blazes. All right, since you're probably going to be down in this hole, we can go ahead and put a stair system in, and we can just kind of do it on the side. Yep, just like that. And you can either put in your stairs if you want, or, you know, jump up every time you want to come up here. So anyways, we're all the way up here, and yep, we can connect in just like that. The next thing we're going to need to do is put an outline for our Trident Killer. So this is where our spawner is. We're going to face north, big green N, and we're going to go over this way just a little bit, just to the west. And you can see we're going to put in a nice 2x2 square around it. This is where our Trident Killer is going to go. So you can see we are even with the blaze spawner, just like that. And yeah, we're looking good. The next thing we can do is come over to this side, fill that in. You can come over to the east side and fill these in just like that. This is just a little walking platform for us. Next thing we can do is, yep, we can just get rid of some of these blocks now. We've done all the work for it. Don't worry about taking out the block underneath here. I don't think you're going to see any blazes. If you don't, then get ready for a quick fight because you're going to annihilate it. But anyways, yeah, let's keep working over here. The first thing we're going to do is put in a couple blocks just like this. And you can see them in this configuration. All right, now it's time for the rail system. So let's go over here and place in a powered rail right there. We can come to the back side of this green block and put in a lever that will power the powered rail. Put in an activator rail. You'll notice that they don't power each other. So we're going to need to put in a second lever right there. Grab your regular rails, 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then before we go any further, grab another lever and put it right there and turn it on. You can see that once we put in 2 powered rails, these 2 are connected. Go ahead and grab 2 more regular rails, just trying to save you on the powered rails. You can definitely put in more powered rails wherever you want. The next thing we can do is then put in 1 powered rail, and this should get us nice and even with that blaze spawner. At this point, you can either put in a block of redstone, or if you don't have another block of redstone or you're just trying to save on them, you can find your regular block, solid block, put a lever underneath it, and that's going to power it. So if you don't have a whole lot of redstone, use the lever method. For this tutorial, you guessed it, I'm using the redstone block. So grab your powered rails then, 1, 2, 3, 4 total. We're going to make the turn 1, 2, 3 just like that. We're going to grab 2 more powered rails and we're going to put in another redstone block. And we're just going to take this all the way down to the end, all the way. So this line is completely powered. All right, come over here to our Trident Killer, break those 2 blocks, throw in 2 redstone blocks, grab a powered rail, put it right there in the corner, and then an activator rail right here. The next thing we're going to do is make a turn with some regular rails. Go 1, 2 with powered, break this one, put in your redstone block 1, 2, 3 after that. Grab 1, 2, 3 regular rails. We're going to make a turn, and then we're going to go 1, 2, guessed it, put in another block 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go with a regular rail right even, and then we're going to have powered rail right there. To do this, we're going to go ahead and throw in a lever, turn it on just like that. That'll be part of our wall system. Yeah, we're looking good there. This will allow us to turn the rail or minecarts off, and they'll stop in this position and in this position, which is good because if we flick them back on, then they'll go back on their merry way, which is good news for us. We're not going to enclose this, so we don't really need, we can keep that open right now because we're going to need to get in and out here soon. But we can go ahead and put this in just like that. Build up your wall. We're going to come to this other side. We're going to build this wall up too. Come on in here. Build it up right there. Build it up right here. And we're going to look at the back side here as well. We're going to start putting in a little wall just like this. We don't need them floating onto us when we're trying to do our AFK. And we can come over to this side as well and fill this in just so we've got a nice secure area. So now they've got a little corridor. The other thing we can do to help prevent any minecart stoppages is to go ahead and put a little wall up here. That way, when they're in the minecart, they will pass through. But they can't just wander in here. Sometimes they spawn in and move right in, and that could mess up your minecarts. So the next thing we're going to do is come on over here. We're going to put 2 buttons there, and then we're going to put 2 buttons right here. We'll also put a button right here next to our activator rail, and then we'll put one over here for this activator rail. Because blazes can fly, they can just float right into these openings if they want to. But these buttons right here will trick the minecart into throwing our blazes into the Trident killer. The thing that we need to worry about is that we have kind of a big room and we don't really need to utilize these spaces over here in the corners. No blazes are going to spawn over there, and they could wander over there and not get picked up by the minecarts. Minecarts can pretty much pick up everything. Eventually blazes will get bumped or move and the minecarts will grab them. At no point will there be 6 blazes just hanging out in this area that can't get picked up by your minecarts. I just don't see it ever happening. So this thing will always be working all the time as long as your minecarts are running. So I placed these down here. Let's go ahead and fill them in all the way up on both sides. All right, we're looking pretty good. You'd say, well, they might spawn on top of here. Yep, they probably will. And that's okay. They're going to move it at some point. Hopefully they'll just move right into our Trident killer. But again, they're not going to be 6 of them sitting right on there breaking our cap. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get these minecarts on here. Yeah, you just come over here, throw it right there. That one's going to start moving around. You can check. Bounces. Tosses. Comes back around. All right, and we can do it over here as well. Just make sure our alignment is working. Yep. Things are looking pretty good. I love it. Everything's in there. Let's close that side up and start working downstairs. Okay, you can see where our Trident killer is going to be, so we can put in some storage now. Go ahead and throw this in here. Some hoppers on top feeding into the chest, and then we'll put another hopper right here feeding into the hoppers. We can block up just a little bit. Throw this on there, put a little curve in there, break those 2, and then we can throw in our minecart with hopper right on top of that. All right, from here we can just kind of build up a little bit. That way we can get to an AFK position. So we've got a little platform here. We can throw some more blocks right on top of where our minecart with hopper is. From here we can block up just a little bit more and put some blocks in just like this. Build it out so you've got more of a 4x3 platform, and then we can dig out these 3 positions right there. Grab your pistons, and we're going to have our AFK position, we'll say about right there. So we can go ahead and place our first piston. Go 1, 2, piston, 1, 2, piston, and then 1, 2, piston, just like that. You can go ahead and fill those gaps in with some solid blocks, just like that. Keep this one open. We don't even need a half slab here. Go ahead and throw your dropper in right there in these 4 locations, and then we can grab our observer, put it in just like this. Break that block. Make sure that the base of the observer is looking at the dropper, and then the red dot is over top of your piston. Before you put in your last one, before you get stuck, fill in these spots right here. You can use this netherrack, of course. Go ahead and jump up just right here. Throw in your Trident. And now here's kind of a tricky part. Just come over to this side. Grab your observer, put it on top, facing that dropper. The red dot's right there again. And then we can enclose this all the way around, just like this. Oop. The last thing we can do is just put a switch on right there, right above our piston. This is locking things out. Now we put this in the off position. We've got a nice little clock happening here. In fact, you can come down here and kind of look up and see what's going on if you really wanted to. This will actually draw some of your blazes down if they have line of sight of some part of you, which is a good thing because we want to be lower than the Trident killer because the blazes will try to match our elevation whenever they can. So once they're over top of the Trident killer, they're just going to float down, whether they see us or not. All right, looking really good down here. Got lots of space for storage. Go ahead and throw some additional light on in here. You don't really want to have anything else spawning. So we can come all the way back up here. Maybe put a door in if you really want. That'd be kind of cool. But for right now, we're going to get one last thing in place. I blocked all the way up here. And you can see that we need to put in 2 blocks just like that, right on top. Once we get rid of this pumpkin, there'll be one spawnable spot over top of it. But because there's a block right here, it will push it off to the side. So when we're ready, we can go ahead and break these off. I want to make sure that we've got enough space here so I can get all of them all in one go. Make sure you do not break that spawner because all this work will be for nothing. Once you start breaking them, they will spawn in. They get caught right away too, so you don't have to run too fast. That's all 4 spawn. But yeah, we're looking really good. Make sure you don't have any lights in here like sea lanterns or shroom lights to try to spice it up. That light can impact your spawn rates and the number of blazes that can pop up. So just make sure it's nice and dark. You can have these openings, no big deal. But oh yeah, here's a good group. We're going to catch them, get pushed around a little bit. Nope, not going in there. But you can see that one went all the way down in. Those 2 got thrown. So we're going to come back down in here. You can see they're getting beat up. By going AFK here, you can get from 0 to 30 in about 30 minutes, and then you can get up to level 40 in 1 hour. I was able to pull in almost 7 stacks of rods, which is pretty sweet. That's what we're here for. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. All right, thanks everyone for joining me on the Bedrock Guide. Hope you enjoyed yourself. This one was fun to make. Blazes are definitely fun to play around with, and they get to have a little fun themselves with these minecarts. One last ride before the big KO. But anyways, hope you liked what you saw. Hit that subscribe button as well so you can get the new content when it comes out. Bye-bye.